Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And in this one I'm going to be taking a look at two of my Fire Brigade Models fire engines. And these are both from two different fire services in Scotland. I'm going to be taking a look at some of the similarities and differences in between these two and giving my overall view thoughts in the end. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right on into it. So the white one in front is from Grampian and the one behind it is from Strathclyde. And as you already know, they're both Scania fire engines. I'm going to take a look at each one individually. So the first one I'm going to take a look at is the Grampian Fire Brigade fire engine. As you can see, it says Grampian Fire Brigade on it. Pretty nice. Got the lockers on it. Uh, got a yellow line that goes down the front, which is pretty cool. You also got the crest right there in the middle between the doors. Taking a look around at the front. Probably zoom in a bit more on this. Might make a camera adjustment. As you can see, it says Scania, and then right in the window, it's 961 is the number. Not sure what that's for or why that's there. That's a nice little detail to it. Got the light bar across the top and a horn right here on the corner, which is pretty cool. Zoom out a little bit. Turning it around to the other side, it's pretty much the same detailing on this side. You got the three lockers on the other side. You got the crest again right in the middle of the door, between the two doors, the yellow line. Then looks like a couple of steps. I don't know about right there, I'm not too sure. Probably one like right there to get in. Same thing on the other side. It's got two lights right here, just different. Then looking around the back, you got a tool right here. I saw this on the Oxford diecast model, the two that I just did reviews of. This one actually has two of them, which is different. And then you got this area right here where they hook up the hoses, where the water pressure dials, I think, right back here, which is pretty cool. Got lights on the corners on the bottom. Then from this angle, you see you got the three ladders. It's also similar to the Oxford diecast Scania ones. You got the small one, got the big one in the middle, and then another long one. Except I think on the Oxford ones, this ladder's on this side, so that's different. It's pretty cool though. And then also got a like a camera thing right here, or a light, which is pretty cool. So there's that. So that's the Grampian one. The next one I have is the Strathclyde Fire Brigade fire engine, and this was, I think, the first one that I got from Fire Brigade Models. It's a great find on eBay. Couple of same thing as the Grampian one. Got a few lockers along the side. You got the stair steps right here to get in. The crest is right in between the doors, little symbol. Turn it around to the front. You can see the light bar going across the top, and then it's got two lights. This one's got mirrors. Scania across the front. Pretty cool. Then pretty much the same detailing on this side. Really not a lot. You see the yellow line and the symbol again right between the two doors, which is pretty cool. Three lockers. And then of course, same thing with the ladders. Right here you got the small one, the big one in the middle, and another long one right here, which is pretty cool. And then back here it's a little different, where they hook up the hoses, the water pressure. Looks like it's got the same tools along the back right here, which is pretty cool. So now gonna take a look at the similarities that these two models have. Try to bring in the camera a little bit right here. So, looking at them from the side, it's pretty much the same thing on both sides. The first thing is a difference is obviously the Grampian one is white and the Strathclyde one is red. They both, the crest seems to be a lot more bigger on the Grampian one. It seems to stand out more than it does on the Strathclyde one. That one looks like a bit smaller, and the Grampian one looks like it's a bit bigger. You also notice on the Grampian one, there's the yellow line that starts across the top right here, and then it goes and comes down. Whereas if you look at the Strathclyde one, it's just two lines across the doors, which is pretty cool, a little bit different. They both have the cameras or the lights right here on the side of both of them. Do my best to show you right there. And then, of course, where my pointer fingers are at, that's where those two lights are, which is pretty cool. And that's probably a little hard to show. Taking a look around the front of them now. Now I'm going to do a zoom in of both of these now, and taking a bit of a look around here. The Strathclyde one came with the mirrors on. The Grampian one did come with mirrors in the box, but I just chose not to put them on, so that's a difference. On the Strathclyde one, right on top of the cab, you see the two blue lights right here. It's pretty cool. On the Grampian one, it doesn't look like, they don't have the two blue lights like the Strathclyde one does. Looks like these might be where some lights would be right here, right below. Pretty different. No number in the window on the Strathclyde one. Another difference too is you notice on the Grampian one on the top there's an air horn right here where the Strathclyde one doesn't. And I have another model that has an air horn on it, but it's I'll show that in a second. It's pretty cool. They both say Scania across the front. I'm gonna have to zoom out now. Okay, trying to zoom out just a notch here. Oakley dokley. Okay. So, pretty much the same detailing on this side. You also notice, I was going to point out, they both have these lights right here by their lockers, right here, like on the Strathclyde one and then on the Grampian one. They're both clear, as you can see. A little hard to tell, but it's there. The Strathclyde Fire Brigade is written pretty small, whereas if the Grampian one, it's more noticeable, it stands out a little bit more, even though the writing is a bit smaller. Same detailing pretty much. Also on the Strathclyde fire engine right here, there's a light, like a little, I'm gonna zoom in real quick because it's a small detail to it. Right up here, there's like a light or a mirror right up here, which is pretty cool. Right above the passenger side door at the front. It's pretty cool, that little detail right there. The Grampian one does not have that, which is different. Gonna have to make some adjustments here. I think that's good enough. It says emergency 1 on the Strathclyde one. It doesn't say that on the Grampian fire engine. A little small writing right there. And then Strathclyde Fire Brigade written right there. Taking a look at the back of both of these now. I have to we'll zoom out just a little bit right there. I think that might be good enough. They both have these tools. On the Grampian one, they look like they're a bit smaller right back here. And on the Strathclyde one, these are longer. The coloring at the back on the Grampian one, you can tell is different from The one on the Strathclyde one that has white and red, whereas if the other one is yellow and red on the Grampian one. Right back here, you see where the door opens, where these doors would open for to hook up the hoses for the water pressure area back here. Whereas if on the Strathclyde one, that looks like a roll-up door that just goes up and down, which is pretty different. Another thing too about the ladders, the small one on the Strathclyde one, it's just a straight one. It doesn't have like a curl up at the end. Not like the Grampian one does. You can see right back here where it curls. It doesn't curl, so that's another difference. So that's pretty cool though. I'm gonna zoom back out a little bit. So with that being said, another thing too I was going to point out, I said that on the Grampian one, it's got the air horn right here. I do actually have another model, another Fire Brigade Models fire engine. I'm going to show really quickly. And this one is a little bit different. The only detail I wanted to show, this one is a Dennis Sabre from the Wiltshire Fire Brigade, as it says on it. This one has the air horn in the middle, which is pretty cool. I don't remember if I showed that detail when I did a review of the Dennis Sabre fire engines in my first video, if I pointed that out. But this is interesting that it's got an air horn right here, and I figured I'd just show that. Just pretty cool that it has that. And that this one is lined up in the center, whereas if the other one's lined up by the driver's side. I figured I'd just point that one out. So now, another thing too about these fire engines that I forgot to point out, they both have the big blue light bar that go across the top that complete right along the side, and they're very noticeable right here, which is pretty cool. I think that's nice that they have that. Looks like it stands out more. Kind of different from the other, like similar to the Scania fire engines that I have from Oxford. So now, with that being said, I'm going to give my overall view thoughts on these two fire engines that I have in my collection. So now, this was these were hard to find. I was able to find them off of eBay from two different sellers. I'm happy that I was able to get these for my collection, and they're pretty cool. Pretty nice. I really like the Fire Brigade Models Scania version of fire engines. I really like the look and detail they have on them, which is pretty nice. A lot bigger than the 1/76 scale, I'll say, but they're still pretty cool. And I like a lot of the similarities and differences they have. And I think this is a pretty nice collection right here. These are the only two Scania fire engines I have from them. But this is a pretty nice start, and I'm looking forward to getting more like these. And I really like the fact that these are from two different fire services in Scotland, which is pretty cool, and just how nice they look. So it was really hard to find these, and they're very hard. They're limited editions, and they only made a quantity of so many of each. So they're definitely worth the money if you come across them. They would really be a great addition to your collection if you like collecting emergency vehicles like these. They're pretty nice. A lot bigger than some of the other ones, but they're definitely worth the money if you come across them. And these were made by Paul Slade, Fire Brigade, who has something to do with Fire Brigade Models. So, but I heard that you can only really get these, order them from a site in the UK. But I was lucky when I found these on eBay in the US. Quite expensive, but they were definitely worth the money. So I really, really like this collection. I figured I'd take the time to look at some of the similarities and differences. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please be sure you stay tuned for the next one.